Hey everyone, Dukaness here with a unique guide to the Vosik fight, something I haven't yet seen. It's no secret that Vosik is the most difficult encounter in the heroic mode of Wrath of the Machine, so my clan and I did a little trial and error to come up with a new strategy. The hardest part of this boss fight is staying alive, right? The enemies add up, and when combined with Vosik shooting at you, someone's bound to make a mistake. Well, what if the enemies never had an opportunity to shoot you? We've figured out how to accomplish this 90% of the time, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I'll give you a general, high-level breakdown of how this works. I'll then show you perspectives from different characters so you know what your job looks like, regardless of what character you play. We're not covering the challenge mode in this video. However, the strategy is certainly compatible with it, considering challenge mode doesn't really change all that much in the fight. Instead of sitting back and letting the enemies come to you, you go straight to the source. You have a Sunsinger on each side with a sword. They'll slice through the ads one by one as they come out the door. The defenders on each side will pop a bubble for teammates to dip in and out of while shooting at the middle ads. The Night Stalkers constantly tether the center as soon as they have their super. They also shoot at the middle ads and run around collecting orbs to keep their super charged. We'll go into more detail in each class now that you guys have the general idea. As a Sunsinger, there are a lot of options. I recommend a max discipline and strength loadout because your abilities can play a major role if used correctly, and your teammates are going to be creating a ton of orbs anyway, so intellect isn't really required. Since movement isn't all that important, I run max armor and recovery. For your exotic gear, there's two options I recommend. The Claws of Ahamkara are good if you're less experienced or find yourself dying too often. If you're low on health, and there isn't a bubble up or you're too far from it, you can switch to your primary and quickly slap something to get that flame shield, like right here. The Claws let you do that more often with the second charge. The idea is to have the shield as often as possible, so like in this clip, where I get the flame shield to survive, I take a little more damage, and then the bubble's up, letting me get another shield. The Sunbreakers are also useful because they make those large area of effect solar grenades last even longer, giving you more zone control. As helpful as the exotic gear is, the raid gauntlets are an even better choice if you have them. The perk gives you more heavy ammo, so you'll never run out of sword ammo, so I highly recommend those. Make sure your sword has max ammo capacity on it, and only use the R2 attacks on captains to conserve ammo. As for your super, try and keep an eye on how many orbs are available on your side. So take this clip for example, where I pop my Radiance to make my job a little easier. I'm able to get a few grenades down, take some extra damage, and that's all at no cost because I could instantly restock my super from the available orbs. As soon as this fight starts, you should be at the doors waiting for your enemies to come out. We'll start on the left side, which is the easier side because the ads exit one at a time. You'll never have to cover two doors at once. Since there are less ads on this side, there's going to be short periods where you have nothing to kill. I recommend using that time to shoot at the monitor if it's active or helping clear ads in the center. As mentioned, the right side's more difficult because ads come out of two doors simultaneously. It can get overwhelming at times, so don't be afraid to ask one of the players on your side to help you regain control. In fact, sometimes we just have a second player spend half their time helping, depending on how experienced the Sunsinger is at handling things. That extra person can come over and clean up whichever ads slip through, so you can go back to killing them at the door. I normally ignore the monitors on this side because of how many ads there are to deal with. I watch my radar, so I don't have to turn around to know when and where ads are spawning. A good play is to place a solar grenade right here to contain the ads, while you use your sword on ads coming out of a different door. The captains spawn immediately after the second monitor is taken out. Have someone shooting at the monitor call out that it's down. Once they call that out, the captain comes out of this door on the left, and this door on the right, every single time. You can meet it at the door and give it a double uppercut immediately. Captains do not spawn after the third monitor is destroyed. However, more captains come out when the fourth monitor is destroyed. Most teams usually have Vosik shield down after the fourth round of throwing, which stops a monitor from spawning, but if your team is slower, be prepared for another captain. On wave 1, 2, and 3, try not to pick up your bombs until you absolutely have to. If you're holding the bomb while waiting for someone to count down the throw, you're letting the ad stack up and risking dying. For this reason, I recommend not picking your bomb up until there's 1 second left on the timer. Remember, you have the bombs closest to Vosik, so even if you're a half second late, your bomb is still going to hit him around the same time as your teammates. So in this clip, for example, I was getting overwhelmed, so I even pull out my primary as my teammate finishes his countdown. I then pick up and throw at the last possible moment. For the throw in the final phase, usually phase 4, pick your bomb up immediately and move towards the center. The ads are wiped out when Vosik's shield is dropped, so there's no point in clearing ads. Also, the middle is where you're going to be damaging Vosik from, so you want to already be there when his shields are taken out to maximize DPS time. I don't have any clips of me doing this because I keep forgetting, but it's something I'm working on when we run this strategy and something you should do too. The Night Stalkers are not assigned to a specific side. The idea is for them to roam around collecting orbs, which allows them to constantly have the middle tethered. In the Hunter gameplay for the rest of this video, pay close attention to how mobile we are and how often we're able to use our super. Just go where the orbs are. If you're not supered, your priority is to get supered. Remember, there are 3 other players shooting ads in the middles, so you don't have to be focused there all the time. Visit the defenders and collect orbs from their bubbles. Run circles around the engagement and collect orbs from the other Night Stalker, like you're seeing me do in this clip. Don't be afraid of the middle either. Vosik rarely hits you if you stay agile. You see me jump into groups of ads and throw a smoke or a vortex at my feet. The reason I do that is to collect ammo and orbs in the center, or the Siva bombs. In theory, it's very risky, but in practice I find it very safe, as long as you keep your feet moving. The ads go down insanely fast with 4 guns firing, so in your downtime, make sure you check on your Sunsinger to see if they need help, just like I'm doing in this clip. Since the Night Stalkers are always so mobile with this strategy, have them pick up the middle bombs. Going invisible to retrieve the front middle bomb is definitely a viable strategy, or just wait until the ads are cleared. If you think it's too risky, leave the bomb and stay safe. It's more important that you stay alive. When the captains come out, 1 rocket from all 4 players is more than enough to drop it, as you're seeing here. As for the monitors, remember there are only 4 players shooting at them, so you'll need to deal more damage than you're used to. There are a couple of loadouts that will work for this strategy for a Night Stalker. I recommend Light of the Pack to create more orbs, which will keep the tethers and bubbles chaining even easier. For your exotic piece, I have 2 recommendations. Crest of Alpha Loopy is a safe option because it increases how many orbs you make from your tether. A better option, in my opinion, is using the Skyburner's Annex helmet, which spawns orbs of light after heavy weapon kills. The idea is, you tether a group of enemies and fire a rocket launcher at them. You spawn a ridiculous amount of orbs using this method, as I'm sure you've seen numerous times in these clips. Take a look at this clip in particular though. Biker is my other Night Stalker. He calls out that he's going to tether the middle. Notice how no one shoots while this is happening. That's because we want him to get credit for the kills, so he spawns the maximum orbs of light. While you do create orbs if your team kills tethered enemies, you obviously do not create orbs for the heavy weapon kills if there isn't anything to kill. So we wait and let him rip the Gjallarhorn. I then call my team off before I do the same. After I fire my rocket, we move around and collect each other's orbs. The idea is to constantly be doing this. Enemies do not need to be tethered to create orbs from heavy weapon kills, so if you're low on orbs, ask your partner to rocket the center and create a few to stock you up. Regardless of whether or not you're using Skyburner's Annex, make sure you call your tether a few seconds before you drop it, because if both hunters use it on the same group of ads, it's a waste. There's not a whole lot to running a defender in this fight, so I didn't get any first-person footage. A defender basically does a little bit of everything, the true support role. If a Sunsinger needs help, they'll give him a quick hand. They also help control ads in the center. Since defenders don't use heavy anywhere else, they should shoot a rocket at the monitors if the team is falling behind. Defenders grab the remaining bombs on the back corners, since the Sunsingers have the front corners and the hunters have the middle covered. Keep that bubble up as often as possible. On the left side, I recommend popping your bubble here. On the right side, you should pop it here. These spots are as close to the Sunsinger as you can get, while still putting the bubbles behind enough cover that Vosik won't be able to break it. Pop it as soon as you get it. As per usual, you want Illuminated and Bastion on the bubble to make it last longer and increase the effects. You want Blessing of Light on the bubble, yes, Blessing, not Armor of Light like I said in the last video like a big idiot. I also recommend you use the Crest of Alpha Loopy for the extra orbs, since we're trying to chain as many supers as possible. Other than that, there's not much else to it. When you deliver enough damage that the ads change to shanks, do not run this method. I promise you that using a sword on exploding shanks will not end well for you. So just sit back and pick them off like you normally would. I know we covered a lot, so let's quickly summarize. Sunsingers spawn kill the left and right ads using a sword and the pair of gauntlets that fits their playstyle. They're going to ignore the monitors and throw their Siva bombs as late as possible. Captains come out after the second monitor is destroyed, so meet them at the door with an R2 attack. On the last bomb phase, bring your bomb center so you're in position for maximum DPS. Night Stalkers will constantly roam around collecting orbs and use their supers. Call your supers before using them to optimize the orbs created. Use the Skyburner's Annex for bonus orbs with heavy weapons. Defenders support the team by constantly popping bubbles. They'll also help the Sunsingers on the corners, if needed, and they'll also fire a rocket at the monitors if the team is falling behind. Revert back to the original strategy during the Shanks phase. A lot of this video was factual and mechanical and systematic, so I just wanted to hit you guys with my opinion before I go. In all honesty, this is a really fun and rewarding strategy to use. We ran this strategy for a few hours, and then we tried going back to the old strategy. It was honestly dull and boring. This method seems just more exciting and entertaining to use. If you think I'm full of crap, I'm going to play a clip for you at the end where Biker and I sound like giddy schoolgirls because we legitimately were having a great time. So it really is fun, so even if your strategy is better, I'd encourage you to give it a try. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Daftbot, who came up with the majority of this idea. We both made a couple of tweaks as it went along, but I wanted to give him credit where it's due for the original idea. Also, let me know what you think of the strategy, and flick that like button if you enjoyed the video. Dukaness out.
Yo, Proto's having a field day over here with Bubbles. Yo, this is awesome, dude! I'm just running in circles picking up orbs, like I'm not even shooting anything.